Hello everyone, iRacing Creator Series Champion here, and today I want to show you the brand new super clipping in Monoposto. Let's go through a quali lap around the Red Bull ring as Isaac Hadjar. You already saw a bit of super clipping at turn 1. Gonna drain the battery down the back straight with the active aero enabled, and then we start super clipping about 300 meters before going into turn 3. And that is just a madness in saving the battery, which is actually just so good because now it's a lot more predictable than when we first introduced super clipping to the game. Going through turn 4, a little bit of a drift there, which actually helped me out massively, making me gain a lot of time on the delta. Of course, I am still down, but it's been a very strong middle sector. More super clipping through turn 5 and then through turn 6. Not too bad in the end. And now we're green on the delta there. 8 tenths gained in sector 2 is absolutely wild. A little bit more super clipping, which catches me out at the penultimate corner. You did not see that corner, and you're not going to see the final corner as I end up smashing it into the barrier, ruining every single chance of qualifying in the top 10. So we're now P14 on the grid behind the Cadillac of Perez, 2 seconds off the pace from Max Verstappen as we jump into the formation lap. I got you there, didn't I? No, we do not have a formation lap yet. But we might as well have a formation lap with the new red flag feature, as at the end of the lap, you can just enable the red flag and everyone will get into position just like a formation lap. And that's what I wanted to do here today. So we're going to start on the hard compound tyre because why not? And we're going to really test how odd it will be super clipping while racing. I've not really done a proper race yet with all these new updates. There's been a lot to get through, I'm not gonna lie. Marco's been absolutely cooking with these updates recently, and there is just so much to go through in terms of details. I know Polo Pluto made a community post about that, so do be sure to check that out. But here we go then for the Austrian Grand Prix. Revving up to 5 headlights here. And away we go for the Jehovah Grand Prix. We do get a good start as the AI are still a little bit scared of each other going into turn 1 as we get a bit of lag there from either the heat or the optimization not being as optimal there. As you can see, I get done round the outside by Behrman, and it's very confusing with how powerful the battery is. The minute you stop using the battery, you are sitting duck on the straight line, and now you do have to consider super clipping as well, which cost me there as I tried to overtake Franco Colapinto, but it didn't matter as I did save some battery for the next straight, which has allowed me to get back through. We're going to have a look at Lando Norris as well, down into turn 4. Norris will defend on the outside, but won't use his battery yet, and that will get me alongside the McLaren, but now Colapinto will make it 3 wide through turn 6, which absolutely ruined me a little bit, and I thought I was going to retire the race with a bit of damage, but luckily no harm done. Norris and Colapinto going wheel to wheel, going into the penultimate corner. Colapinto will start super clipping, which will allow me to have the opportunity to just about overtake him before the safety car is enabled. Liam Lawson and Carlos Sainz are out of the Grand Prix, and they've taken Albon with them, and I think that should probably be enough to be a red flag. So I do a little bit of scripting and bring out the red flag just for the safety of the drivers, as if there isn't enough safety already. So we're going to have to return to the pit lane here at the end of lap 2. And now everything will get underway again. You'll notice I don't have any hard tyres left. But before we do that, I do love how you can see when a car is super clipping, almost like in real life. That has been a feature for a while, but I just thought I'd shout it out there. So I'm going to stay on the hard tyres, and there is a little bit of tyre wear on my tyres, but they're not completely dead. So that is part of the brand new update. When you do pick old tyres, you get away with it now, rather than being at 50%. We do get underway, and I decide to get cocky and not use my battery, and Colapinto will fly on through like I don't exist before turn 1. So it is really a game of chess when using the battery, but I did save a lot, and I was able to get Colapinto again, and maybe could have a look at Nico Hulkenberg round the outside of the Audi through turn 4, now through turn 5, wheel to wheel, and there is absolutely nothing I can really do if I don't use the battery, and you're going to see that in a moment. We're going to go side by side at turn 6, and he's gone. See you later, mate. I can't do anything about that. If you don't use your battery, you are genuinely so done for. Look at that. And people chose this, by the way. Leclerc is even struggling with the super clipping there, going into the penultimate corner, but gets away with it. What a terrible start from the Ferrari, considering they were 1-2 at the beginning of this race start. Arvid Lindblad is going to move in the middle of the straight. What on earth are you doing? I know he's absolutely my GOAT, but that is unacceptable from the V-carb, and he will fly past me just to add insult to injury. And look at that, staying defensive. He really doesn't want to lose the position, but starts super clipping, so he can't actually defend anymore. So I do get back through, but due to that, he will now use more battery after recharging before turn 3. So once again, I'm behind the V-carb, but I'm going to come back at him, start super clipping, which means I can't do anything, and I will never know what on earth happened to Franco Colapinto, but he's had a massive accident. But it's not that dangerous having a car on fire in the middle of the track. So the FIA have downgraded the safety car to a VSC, and we're going to get underway again. Here we go on Arvid Lindblad, just kind of faking it there to put him defensive and ruin his racing line. And now on the main straight, we're going to have another look to make this a simple move with the battery, and then we start super clipping again. For goodness sake, leave me alone. I can't do it anymore. When I do start the Monoposto race of the subs, you know I will not be participating in all this battery management. I don't want to do it. That's not my style of racing. As we're going to try around the outside at turn 3, we do leave far too much room there for the V-carb driver. But we are side by side, going to use pretty much all of the battery I have available just to make sure I stay ahead. I start super clipping again, leaving Lindblad the opportunity to get back ahead, but we do defend on the outside line this time. But just know, when I start my new series, I will be watching everyone suffer through this super clipping, and you can watch me suffer through this lap of the Red Bull Ring in race pace. And there you go, a lap of the Red Bull Ring with updated Monoposto super clipping. You can tell how much more predictable it is, so huge credit to Marco Pesce for actually improving that over time. But we do get into a little ding-dong here between the two Ferraris and the McLaren of Lando Norris. Ferrari have done basically what they did in real life in this race. They're going backwards instead of forwards. It really is hard to watch as I'm having a look at Hamilton, but I was way too respectful through turn 1. But better safe than sorry. We can just overtake him on the straight using the battery. We get Hamilton, and we're going to get Lando, but we're going to start super clipping again, which will screw over the overtake completely, and Norris will stay ahead. I do keep ahead of Hamilton, but I have to use my own battery to make sure that Hamilton doesn't have a hope of getting past me. I could send it on Lando. Never mind, Hamilton. Hamilton's gone round me. I have no idea where he came from, but that is just the pain of super clipping. It starts happening, and you just have no idea what will happen. End of the lap after I've now composed myself. Lando goes into the pit lane, and we are free to push on. The hard tyre is really becoming the best race tyre at this stage of the race. We now catch up to Charles Leclerc, and we do have a look. He goes defensive another lovely update that came around in the last couple of months. The AI are always willing to defend, and it really is quite interesting to deal with. Leclerc is going to try everything, but he is struggling with pace on those medium tyres. I'm going to have a look at turn 3, but nothing doing. Leclerc utilising the outside line. So I'm going to use a little bit more battery now, but we're not really going to be able to do anything to attack the Ferrari. We can only send it with false hopes and dreams and hope he reacts to it. But there is no such thing as real overtaking, as you can tell. It's quite difficult to make an actual move. As out of the blue, we've got a virtual safety car where I believe it is Oscar Piastri, who was leading the Grand Prix. He overtook Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but I guess the McLaren has completely let him down again. The reliability really isn't optimal for McLaren this season, and it's just ruined Oscar Piastri's chances of a victory. We're going to have a look at Leclerc, and we're going to predictably super clip before doing anything at turn 1. So we have to just sit back and watch him use the battery. And I won't lie, this is actually a very interesting battle, as we're going to have a look to the outside line. Leclerc isn't going to give it up that easy. Going through turn 3, he does use the inside line and get ahead, using his battery in defence. And I just can't get my way through the Ferrari without super clipping at the wrong time. Into turn 4, I do get a bit desperate and lunge it down the inside. Leclerc does really well to hang it on the outside line once again. So I just have to sit back and be patient with the Ferrari here. But sooner rather than later, we will get this move done. If you look closely, you can tell those tyres are really getting towards the end of their life. And now, on the back straight, Leclerc has no battery to save, so we're going to send it in there with the battery, and that is how you overtake in F1 in 2026. You don't need to be making miraculous overtakes around the outside. You just have to use a straight line. There's a safety car has been deployed out of the blue. I'm not sure what's happened. It's involving Nico Hülkenberg and Fernando Alonso. So we're going to dive into the pit lane, and force of habit from my career, I nearly pitted with the Ferrari mechanics there for a moment, as I just then avoided them and went to the Red Bull mechanics. We're going to put on a new set of the soft tyres, and with Pirelli nowadays, the tyres don't wear out anymore, and Verstappen has been kind of ruined there by that safety car. He will be behind me, and he will be behind Leclerc as well. So poor Max Verstappen, you really do have to feel bad for him as we skip all the way to the end of the safety car period, and things are going to get underway, and I'm going to do everything I can to keep up with that rocket ship of a Mercedes. Warming up my tyres as we get underway for the final 2 laps of the Grand Prix. A short sprint to the end. It really does remind you of Austria back in 2020. Russell and Antonelli are going at it on the straight. They're pulling away from me, even though I'm using up my own battery. Antonelli will go to the inside at turn number 3. He will get ahead momentarily, but Russell will use his own battery to get back ahead. And now I'm going to try and overtake Antonelli, and that was so simple. Now we can focus on Russell. Oh no, we can't focus on Russell. We super clip before the corner, and Antonelli gets ahead again. Using the rest of my battery, I do overtake the Mercedes, and I can push on to try and catch up to Russell. But that Mercedes is way too quick. Even if I set a purple lap, I just can't do anything to catch up to that Mercedes. And I don't have the battery to spare to actually catch up with George Russell. So like in real life, Russell will round the final corner and win the Austrian Grand Prix. Isaac Hadjar will be happy from P14 to P2. And that is the end of a very interestingly frustrating race. But I'm sure there's a question that you guys are asking. What on earth are my settings to make the racing that good? Well, here they are now, and I'll even show you the car powers and the driver skill levels to get the most realistic 2026 grid possible. That is the end of today's video. Be sure to like and subscribe for more content, and thank you very much for all the support recently. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.
shine.